Welcome to HATV. My name is Rhonda Malkmus, and I'm thrilled to be here today. We're filling in for Paul and Ann. I know we don't look quite like them. Let's make sauerkraut.
I'm looking forward to it.
This is a really easy recipe, but it takes a little time to do at home. But if you'll do it, you'll enjoy it. It's delicious. Let's go. First thing I'm going to do is juice a head of red cabbage. You could use green cabbage because I want a little bit of juice to start the kraut in the processing. It just makes it a little easier. Now you could just pound it till you get that much juice, but we're going to cheat and juice a head of cabbage.
And we're going to do purple cabbage because it's pretty. We like that color, but not particularly because of nutritional value.
There we go. Isn't this beautiful? Now, if I was going to drink this juice, I'd strain it. But since we're not drinking it and we're just putting it in the cabbage, I don't feel that there's a need to strain it. Okay, so that's our juice to start our cabbage, or our sauerkraut. When you make sauerkraut, you want about 5 or 6 or maybe 7, depending on the size, heads of cabbage. This is a green cabbage, and you always want to peel away the outside leaves. I mean, you want 5 or 6 outside leaves. And the reason we do that is because when we're finished making the cabbage, we want to put these leaves on the top as a cover. So we want to peel these off.
And if you don't have any outside leaves, what if it just comes like that? What do you use?
You use these.
You just use what you can.
You use what you got. One of the things about food prep that I've learned a long time ago is that you use what you have and you make it work, and you don't worry if you don't have every single ingredient I'm going to use today. That's okay. I'm going to use probiotics today to help with the fermenting process. If you don't have probiotics, you can still make it. It'll just take a little longer.
Right.
The flavor will be the same. We're going to add apples to our cabbage. There we have 4, and I'll do one more.
Okay.
And we're going to add some sea minerals. I'll talk about that in a little while. Mother said there was a way to do this.
You're doing a great job. I didn't realize you could just really put your fingers underneath there.
That's why I took the bottom off. If you
Oh.
take the bottom off, it makes it much easier to peel the leaves. Okay?
Perfect.
The next thing we're going to do is shred the cabbage. Now, you could do this by hand. I talked to my mother last night, who's 89, and she was telling me about when they made sauerkraut, they did this number. And it took a long time. I remember sitting in the kitchen shredding cabbage. We're going to cheat. Now, you could use the shredding blade if you'd like to. In here today, I'm going to use the S blade and just chop it as fine or as coarse as you want. I like it chopped a little bit fine. So I find that if I just cut it in pieces, rough chop it like that, then the machine can easily cut it down to the size that I want. You don't want to put too much in there at a time because then it takes a long time. We don't want to take a long time, so we're just going to... While you do that, I'll finish putting it.
Hey. Where do I put this, Rhonda?
We're going to dump that right into this beautiful bowl that we have back here. Okay? All right. I'm going to add to this cabbage that I prepared earlier. And as you can see, I have red and green in this mixture as well. It almost didn't want to fit in there. And since we're going to be massaging this by hand, it needed to be in a pretty good sized bowl, okay? So then I'm going to add to that about 3 tablespoons of Celtic sea salt. And you can either do this as you layer it in there, or you can do it all together in here. I think what I will do is massage this a little bit to start the juices flowing with my hands.
And that salt will really bring out the juice. That is what pulls the juice out as
I'm going to add 3 teaspoons here, which is about a tablespoon, just to get started. And we're going to massage that in. And then as we build it in the...
3 teaspoons.
3 teaspoons equals a tablespoon, so you can have a tablespoon. I just had a teaspoon measure.
Got it. And you can beat that sauerkraut too, can't you?
We're going to. Now, normally when you make sauerkraut, you put it in a dark crock. But I'm going to put it in this clear container today because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. And if you use a clear container like this, you'll want to put it in a dark, cool place like you would the other. The difference is I'm going to wrap a dark towel around here to keep the light out of it because you don't want the light in it. So let's just start building our sauerkraut.
Okay. And both the white and the purple cabbage are highly nutritious, but when it breaks down like this, it makes it much more absorbable and available for your body. And that's one of the reasons that sauerkraut is so powerful.
Oh, it is. It's full of antioxidants and probiotics and
vitamin C,
and lots of other nutrients. So, and it only takes about 7 to 14 days to make it, depending on the heat and the climate. Okay. So we're just going to start layering this in here. And one of the things I do when I make this particular recipe, there's lots of sauerkraut recipes you can use. This is just one that George and I like a lot, so that's why I'm showing you how to make it. One of the things I add to my sauerkraut, it's really simple. It's 5 or 6 heads of cabbage, about 6 Fuji apples, which you see we have here, about 3 tablespoons of Celtic sea salt per 5 pounds of cabbage. Okay?
Okay.
And I add 3 probiotics per gallon. So this is about, and so what I'm going to do is just layer these ingredients right in here. This recipe calls for a Fuji apple. Now this is a peel-away peeler. You don't have to have one of these. We do not sell them at Hallelujah Acres, so don't ask us for them. You can find one in your kitchen stores that are all over the place. Probably order one online. I'm just using it today because it makes it simpler. But if you don't have one of these, you can do it by hand. We just don't have a lot of time here, so we're just going to cheat. I want you to just see how easy this is. Look at that! Not only is it peeled, but it's totally sliced. So we're just going to cut off these end pieces because they have a little bit of peel left on them. And if I slice it right here, at the moment it's all tied together. Isn't that fun? Children would love that, wouldn't they? So if you slice it right here where this end piece ends, you'll be able to have slices. So we're just going to add some slices of apple to our... And this apple will disappear to nothing. The enzymes will eat it. It'll feed on it. That's one of the reasons I use it. It helps, again, in the fermenting process. And these are Fuji apples, and they're very juicy apple. I was going to vacuum seal them so I could use them today. They had so much juice I couldn't vacuum seal them. So we're just going to put some apple, and then we're going to add a teaspoon of Celtic sea salt and a sprinkle of...
Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
As you know, when you use salt, it helps things to weep. So that's why we are adding a little bit of salt. I don't like to use a lot of salt, and I don't like to use a lot of this, but a little of it adds just so much flavor. And we're just going to continue to layer.
Now, what are you pounding with?
Oh, this is the tamper from my Norwalk juicer.
We're looks good.
I would have had a baseball bat, but I didn't have one. So this was the next best thing I could find. And you really can build some muscles doing this. See how that's getting down and getting smaller? And I can even see some juices starting to flow.
So what else could we use to pound with, Rhonda?
Anything that's blunt and heavy, a baseball, end of a baseball bat, I wasn't kidding, or a tamper. I've used the tamper from my juicer.
And what about
wood is best?
Yes.
Because it's sturdy. And what I'm doing is breaking down the cellular structure. Like when we juice, it breaks open the cellular structure. That's what we're doing here. We're bruising it to begin the fermenting process. Okay, Melody, let's add the last layer of cabbage into the sauerkraut here, and then we'll tamp it some more. And as you can see, it's really good that we don't have this bowl all the way to the top, because when those juices start flowing, you don't want it to overflow on your counter.
splash everywhere?
Yes, or even when you're working it. Melody's been pounding this like there's no tomorrow. And
Gotta kind of.
can you hear the sucking sound? That's the juices starting to be released. Yes, the juices are flowing great. So if we get a clean cloth, let's just wipe out the inside of this.
Should I dampen it?
Probably be a good idea. And I'm just going to, while she's doing that, I'm going to add the last little bit of Celtic sea salt here on the top. And one last sprinkle of sea nutrients. The next thing we do, we need to put the cabbage leaves on top.
Okay, go ahead.
Cabbage leaves just help to keep the bugs out and the air and the. And you want to make sure that you turn them so you can cover all the top of the cabbage so that nothing is exposed. And if you find a plate that'll fit inside, you put it face down like that, and then take a quart jar and fill it with water. You want something to weight it down. Okay, now that we've gotten it all together, we're going to cover it. Remember I told you it needed to be in a dark place, and since we have a clear container, we're going to cover it with this dark towel and put it in a cool place and put it to bed for a couple weeks. And when it's finished, we'll come back later and let you see what we've created. And Melody and I will taste it and let you know if it's fit to eat. Thanks for joining us today. It's been great to be with you.